Yep. I don't know which, yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, you should have gotten an email, um,
Yeah.
with a link. But what I'm gonna do, because you all have an account already with Teachers Loaded.
Yeah.
However, I thought to start with, we'd get you into a test account so we could play and you don't have to worry about the activating tools and all that kind of stuff. So if you would at least go to the website that looks like this, which is that portal. I don't know if everybody's got anything you need me to send it or have to be let me show you the login for that then. You're going to want to use, we'll start with the instructional coach one. And I know this is really kind of annoying because that's a capital I and then TLSS is all caps and then coach is lowercase. So you need to kind of do that as the name, username, and then the password is the same everywhere, which is change me with a hashtag with the keys.
Yep, we got out there.
You probably have your own account too, but we're gonna, this is the test one. Okay.
I must have asked.
I need to read it.
Huh?
So are we, everybody there?
You're there, I'm not.
Okay. Yeah.
So the
Just this
website.
top one. You want-
And
Yes,
mine,
it is.
mine
Okay.
was so here and not letting me.
We
No, you have to go, sorry, you have to go, before you get to that, you have to go to the TLS, new teacher center there.
Okay.
Oh, what is it?
See, I was wrong.
I think it's NTC portal and then the narrator.
I'm sorry, so for our username,
So that's the I, the top line. Oh, that's okay.
Change me hashtag. So don't change password. Okay, this is our, this will be the account we can play in and add stuff, and you don't have to worry about the activating tools and teachers. If you do it in your own account and play around today, they're gonna get a message saying you added stuff, and you're like, what are you doing? So.
Okay, what was the URL? I know I'm behind, but I just want to figure out how to do this.
No,
How to get this the way I wanted it.
That's your login. You need to go to the portal.
Yeah, sorry, you gotta go to the portal first.
Sorry,
Teacher learning portal.
So where?
Here.
The portal.
In here, right?
Yep, that's where you put in the Iowa TLS.
We keep, right? Are you taking that quantitative data right now, man? Or qualitative? How many do you feel like you generate track? 10%.
All right,
Can you put
everybody close?
no.
No? Okay, so tell me. Having trouble getting in.
Where am I?
You can
You're
just do
really
it.
good. Google search bar
So
too.
let's see if we can get you this portal.
New teacher center, learning zone.
There should be a link. There it is. You type that in.
Okay, so what is, okay, it is LZSP. Okay, dot NTC portal. Or just forward that number. Okay. Now, top. Okay, let's see. Yes. I have my list of to-dos between October 9th. I'm in.
All right.
So the class that we're taking a change from 2 credits to 3 credits, or is that something completely different?
Yeah. Oh, it is completely different, but well, let me just put it this way. If you, yes, which is a good thing. There was a mistake in the PD system.
So they're gonna send us back our money.
They're sending back your money, and then if you need to redo it. Okay, but you'll get 3 credits. And that would not be for the people who were there yesterday. our you'd think they could just apply it, but nope, they can't do that. Graduate program. Okay, do we ever bring it?
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes. No. Yeah, no. Okay. Well, she's my preference.
That's it.
Oh!
Hey, decompress.
Yeah. Do you need some chocolate?
I
need somebody to break my paper that's due at
We can't do that for you, so we
Yes,
just
you could,
have
because it's
chocolate.
the kind of book that you would love.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
And then ask for change with the
I'm in. Or close enough.
All right. So you should have a screen that says, just to double check, it should say Iowa CLSS coach, right? That way you know you're not in your account by mistake. Okay. All right. So there'll be actually, do you see a My Groups button in yours? Do you see that in there? Okay. I think, will have that link as well. That's actually a link to a lot of other just online resources and other coaches and other teachers across the country. You can go to Social Emotional Learning, they've got Common Core, lots of other resources. So that's just another place to go. We're not going to spend a lot of time there. Actually, we're not going to spend any time there. We're going to go to my tools so that you guys can learn how the system works. Has anybody played around here yet at all? No? Just got one in July.
Yeah,
Okay.
Tina and I got invited.
Great. Okay. So here's a couple of things that I would point out that are actually new since July. They have this little tours button on every page. And so if you need a little refresher on anything, like how to do anything, that's going to be able to teach you here to take questions and that kind of stuff. And every place in here, you'll see that little aqua tours button in case you need that. So here's what you need to know. The coach is in purple. Everything that they have is in purple. You'll have tools for yourself, and some of those tools we'll go into here in a little bit, but for the most part, if you wanted to set up peer coaching partners, if you wanted to kind of self-assess and set goals for your own coaching practice, there would be tools in there for you. So when you're working with a teacher, you're not going to click on the purple tools button, because that would be your tools for your practice. Okay? So when you're working with a teacher, so we're going to pretend that we're going to be working with this one, you have a list. There'd be a tools line, a row for each teacher that you have listed underneath you. So Shannon's going to have a long list because she's going to have every teacher in the district. Okay? Kurt, you'd have everybody at the middle school, so on and so forth.
And
I
double
would-
check those lists because
just gonna
I
say
put
that.
all that in there and I'm pretty sure I got everybody, but just in case, double check them.
Yeah, that's going to be my advice too, is to just make sure when you get into your account, check that fairly early. If something's wrong, chances are, there's the error side of our folks as well, and sometimes we get names spelled wrong, or when it gets put in, there's an email that gets put in incorrectly.
Pretty sure if it's a spelling error, it's on me. You guys would agree.
But we can fix that really easy. And then you'll see right here, it lists the program leader. So Meg Gillette is actually my program associate. She knows this system kind of better than anybody in our state right now, and she's amazing. So you can always contact Meg if you have a question about a tool functionality or anything like that. But on yours, when you get in here, you're going to see Gretchen as your program leader, okay? Which means you can also send her things through here. And she can actually access report data, but she can't see any of the conversations or tools between you and the teachers.
And that was one of the questions Shannon had yesterday about confidentiality, was she goes, who can all see that? And I said, well, if it says private on the bottom, I know I can't see it, but I didn't know who had access, so that was one of her questions.
So even though Kurt and Callie, your teachers overlap, you can only see your tools with those teachers, and Callie can only see her tools with those teachers. And from what I understand, the teachers really aren't going to be going into their accounts.
Not right away, no.
Like,
Because they all have like 10 email addresses. And
Yeah.
you can just see like
Yeah, so we're not gonna do that right now, but just know that, they would have a username and password so that they could actually see it as well, and same things that are
And if you want to have them log in, I set up the email addresses so that because it's by email, so everybody's got like 4 fake emails because they're connected to Shannon and Todd and Kim. Everybody at the high school has 3 different emails. So I set it up like their first name dot last name at behavioralcoach.org at highschooltechcoach.org, so that it would be an easy way for people to remember how to get into it if they were working with one of you guys.
And the reality is, we didn't need an actual email address for them because all you have to have is, you can have a fake one to log in. It's really more about the username piece that the system requires. So it's probably like overly confidential in some ways because it's complicated where you have to have multiple usernames for each of the teachers. So truly, you can share with them that nobody else sees anything on here other than the people they're working on in those conversations. The only data, and we'll show you the kind of data that Gretchen will have access to from the system, and so you'll be able to tell exactly what that is. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pretend, and you guys can just play along with me to start with, but we're going to pretend that you met with a teacher for 60 minutes. Okay, you met with a teacher for an hour. And it's this teacher that's here. So there's actually two different functions of the tools that I want to kind of highlight. We did not do a good job of doing this last year, and we had a lot of confusion, and people didn't really use the system to the level in which it could be used. So the one that I really want to highlight at first is the interaction tool. So go ahead and click into the blue tool link. And your screen should look like this. So right now, just know that we're not going to go into them right now. You'll get a chance to look at all of them, but these are all tools that you have access to use with your teacher. So there's a lot of lesson planning tools, observation tools, getting to know the students. So we're thinking about those background experiences, interests, those kinds of things are in here as well. And then setting up instructional groups, which that one might be interesting when I think about the things you're doing for MCSS. So there might be some pieces in here for different purposes. And of course, analysis of student work would be another one that with teams would be one that you can use a lot. But any of those tools you can click on, and then it goes up into your favorite tools section. So if it'd be up at the top of the screen, and then you just click it again and it would go down. So the two that are by far like the most common are right here at the top right now. And the one that we are suggesting everybody use every time you work with a teacher is the interaction log. Whether you use any of the other tools or not, this one's going to track your interaction with the teacher. So if everybody would click in there. So here's what it looks like. So right now, the teacher that you're working with, if you're working with that one teacher, remember we went to the blue and we clicked on that teacher, it would pre-populate their name in here. It already has your name in here because it's your account. So that's already, and the date will already be in there. The other thing, change the date too, but the other thing will be this drop-down menu. It won't work for us for this demo, but that will have your whole list of teachers. So, for example, if you have an interaction with one teacher, you just leave it to one teacher. If you interact with a whole team, you just click on everybody's name, and you can put in one, like that 60 minutes that you met with 3 people, and you only have to do it once. You don't have to do it 3 times. And it also would put it into their accounts separately as well. But you don't want to do that. I had a question today from a coach that said, well, I did the same thing with 3 different teachers. Do I have to go in and do each interaction separately, or can I just do it together? And I said, well, you actually had 3 different interactions, even though you did the same thing. If you do it together, it's going to show that they were together, because 3 names would show across the top. So that's the purpose of that function. So right here, you'll also be able to record, and this one, we talked about this last time, whether you would want to really capture as a system every time you email or text someone. That could be a little cumbersome. So, you know,
Did take